Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, Chinese supermarket operators abducted in Spalding robbery. A Chinese-owned supermarket was held up and the two of its operators abducted during an armed robbery in Spalding, Clarendon on Sunday afternoon. Police said about mid-afternoon on Sunday, a group of armed men went into the supermarket posing as customers before demanding cash at a gunpoint. An undisclosed sum of cash was robbed from the establishment. Police said the armed men then took hostage two of the Chinese business people and abducted them from the supermarket. Police said the Chinese were later released in Baileystown, Clarendon. A manhunt has since been launched in search of the armed men. Disc jockey Rico charged with murder and other offenses. The Hunts Bay police have laid several charges, including murder, against the 31-year-old disc jockey Sean Henry, otherwise called Rico, of 5th Street, Greenwich Town, Kingston 13. The charges stem from the murder of Rohan Seymour, otherwise called the Boss, in Greenwich Town on July 4. Henry is charged with murder, possession of prohibited weapon, using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony, and unauthorized possession of ammunition. The police say about 10:35 a.m. on July 4, residents heard explosions and alerted them. Upon their arrival, Seymour was seen with gunshot wounds. He was assisted to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. An investigation was launched and Henry was arrested and subsequently charged on Saturday. His court date has not been finalized. Roadways facing collapse in Portland. Residents in Cornwall Barracks and the Ginger House in the Rio Grande Valley of Portland are at risk of being marooned as a result of two massive landslides that occurred during the passage of Hurricane Beryl nearly 2 weeks ago. The landslides threaten to undermine the integrity of newly paved roadways in both communities and have worsened with each bout of rain since the July 3 hurricane. Portland Eastern Member of Parliament Anne-Marie Vaz, who visited both areas on Sunday, acknowledged that immediate action is required to save both thoroughfares. I am looking at the actual damage and it is really hard to accept that this is in fact happening. I yielded to the cries of the people who have been begging for a proper road surface for several decades now, she said. It took a lot of effort to secure the funding to reconstruct the roadway at the Ginger House and the Cornwall Barracks, but it was done with success. But here comes one single hurricane and it just mashed up the roadway. I am feeling like each time I take one step forward, I am taking 10 steps backward. It is not fair to the people, especially the elderly, farmers, taxi operators and the students, who are the ones most likely to suffer in the event that both roadways collapse. She called the situation an emergency, promising to lobby for the necessary repairs in the shortest possible time to avert a total collapse of both roadways. The Rio Grande Valley is the breadbasket of the parish, and therefore it is of paramount importance to ensure that the necessary remedial work is done in a timely manner so that farm produce can get to the market for consumers, Vaz said. A 2.4-kilometer stretch of roadway was resurfaced at the Cornwall Barracks, while a little over 3.2 kilometers was completed in the Ginger House area. The road works, which were delayed due to the hurricane, are scheduled to continue. It appears that the rushing waters of the Rio Grande veered to the right in both areas during the passage of the hurricane, washing away boulders and the retaining wall, triggering the landslides. A team from the National Works Agency also confirmed that water from the nearby river has seriously undermined the integrity of the road network in both communities. Meanwhile, several communities in the Upper Rio Grande Valley, including Ginger House, Cornwall Barracks, Bellevue, Millbank, Moortown, and the Comfort Castle, are still without electricity as a result of downed utility poles and damaged power lines. Parents and guardians are being urged to be more vigilant in supervising their children. The police are calling on parents and guardians to be more vigilant in supervising their children as the law enforcers are dealing with too many cases of early initiation of sexual acts and abuse of children. In fact, Inspector Florence Clark, who is attached to the Center of Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, described as a monster the incidents of both male and female adults engaging in sexual activities with children. Clark made the overall call and the statements at a recent meeting of the St. Andrew South District Consultative Committee Conference at Pembroke Hall High School in St. Andrew. She said children aged 8 to 12 are now being taken in for care and protection after having been sexually abused. We have a monster that continues to haunt us daily of sexual intercourse with persons under the age of 16, where our children are being victimized by adults, males and females, and by their peers, Clark informed. She urged the intervention by the consultative committee in addressing the issue within its environment. Clark also said it is important that parents receive assistance to speak to their children about sex and personal safety. Under the Sexual Offences Act, it is unlawful to have sex with anyone under the age of 16. The role of SISOCA is to investigate all sexual offenses that have been reported and to ensure efficient and effective investigation into all allegations, as well as enhance the rehabilitation of victims through counseling and therapy. The St. Andrew DCC serves as a forum to increase the police's engagement in facilitating discussion, as well as developing and implementing effective action plans to address the problems affecting communities within its ambit. St. Bess Police wanted to replicate Vineyard's success in other districts. With no major crimes in Vineyard, St. Elizabeth in the 3 months since the 2 curfews and other social intervention programs were used to restore order, the police are now looking to replicate that success in other communities with the potential for violence. At last week's meeting of the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation, Superintendent Coleridge Minto, the police commander for the parish, spoke glowingly of the policing's success in Vineyard. He said that strategies are developed in accordance with what is happening in the parish's 301 districts, which are served by 11 police stations. In April, I reported here that we had 2 curfews in Vineyard where we were having some challenges, said Minto. The last curfew ended on April 12, and since then, we have had no major crimes. We held several community meetings, and we have even had a football match between the community and the Black River Police. Minto credited the improved relationship between the police and the community, which is being supported by political representatives, church groups, justices of the peace, and the community members in general for the prevailing peace, noting that the residents are pleased. Since the 28th of March, when we had the last violent incident in Vineyard, we have not had any other reported incidents of shooting, murders, or any other major crimes, said Minto. This tells me that the people of Vineyard want peace in their community. What we want to do now is to replicate what is happening in Vineyard in other communities. Among the communities being targeted by the police are Elam, Braes River, and Nain. Minto said all the communities have been quite receptive to the police, which he sees as an indication that they appreciate what is being done to make their communities safe. St. Elizabeth has recorded 114 major crimes since 2024. This compares to 156 for the comparative period up to June 9 last year, which is a 27% reduction, said Minto. Since June, we have recorded just 1 murder. The victim came over from Westmoreland and was shot and killed. In June 2023, we had 5 murders, with 4 occurring after a jailbreak on June 19. In breaking down the murder statistics for this year, Minto said they primarily stemmed from conflicts, robbery, reprisals, and lottery scamming. The breakdown shows that 41% was as a result of conflicts, 12% as a result of robberies, 18% as a result of reprisals, 12% lottery scamming related, and the remainder we have not attributed, said Minto, who hopes the decline in major crimes will continue through the second half of the year. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.